The crowned one.
The crowned one.
What's up, guys? How's it going? Glad to have you back here at the Crown One, and I hope that you guys are having a wonderful evening. It is Saturday night here at the time of this recording, and I just want to thank you guys just again for your continued support on my channel, checking out my videos. Hope I'm not chasing you guys away, but I am just enjoying myself, just really doing what I like and sharing what I like with all of you guys. So let's get into this article. Now, this actually came out, as you can see on the date here, on the 30th of last month, 30th of April. And one of the producers from XDefiant is kind of going out swinging. Now, as you guys may have known or not known, I actually reported on it that XDefiant will be closing its servers. The producers of XDefiant will be closing the XDefiant gaming platform actually a month at the time of this recording, which would be June 3rd of next month. However, that does not negate the fact that they have quite a few choice words with Activision Call of Duty and how they think that Call of Duty is engaged in a little FOMO. And if you guys not hip to the lingo, it's fear of missing out, or FOMO, as some of the young kids like to say. Now, this producer highlights the deceptive nature, or I should say the alleged deceptive nature, because we always want to put that alleged in front there. You don't want to get accused of libel. A deceptive nature, alleged deceptive nature of the FOMO strategies employed by the Activision franchise, which have been a staple, allegedly, in their promotional campaigns. Now, they, being the XDefiant producer, is arguing that such tactics manipulate players into feeling pressured to buy into the latest iteration of the game, as you guys see in the collabs. Whatever collabs that they're doing, oh my goodness, like they had a Cheech and Chong, they had Snoop Dogg, they had Nicki Minaj, and some other like celebrities involved in what started out as a World War II, World War I era game. Now you're seeing modern day musicians in the game for the MMO platform. In my opinion, I'm an old school Call of Duty player. You know, teach his own. For my own, I can't roll with it. I still play the game every now and again, but you won't find the Crown One rolling new skins with Cheech and Chong and all these other cats that's on here. Like, what was it? The Boys. You had, I can't even think of the guy's name, the guy who plays like the villainous Superman. I can't even think of his name right now, but you know what I'm talking about. He's a skin. Black Noir is a skin. It's just gotten a little, in my opinion, it's gotten a little ridiculous. It's almost like, hey, look at this little flashy thing right here. Shiny, shiny, shiny. Go spend, X amount of hundreds of dollars on it. Now, as I've said in the past, even though I ridicule, or I'll just say I disagree with some of the skins, some of the modern day skins that you see on the Call of Duty platform, I did get the Florida skin. I reside in Florida. It's a nice color scheme. I like it. And I spent like maybe $9, $9.99, $10 on it. And I have the Florida skin. So, sue me for $10. But that goes more into the gameplay, I think. I just wanted to dab up my, my rifle and whatnot. And I'm getting sidetracked here. But to the point, these, what I consider superfluous skins that you see, and not as so much, in my point of view, the development of the gameplay seems to be more of a gimmickish style type of Call of Duty from what I've seen. And you don't even have to take my word for it. You can look at some of the people on some of these chats on some of these platforms like X, might be some Instagram people on there. Definitely YouTube. And every time a new skin comes out, people are pretty much ridiculing it. But at any rate, this is often leading to disappointments when the gameplay doesn't live up to the hype. And again, these skins, and I'm kind of harping on this. When you look at these skins, who sees them? The other players see them. You don't see them. I mean, you see them when you're in the lobby, but you don't really see them unless you go in a third person. I don't even know if that's possible because it's an FPS. It's in the name. But I mean, it has no digital function other than aesthetic. And when I go into gameplay, and I bought the Florida skin, because I want to look nice. I actually can see my weapon. I see the little what is it? Not the rabbit's foot, but the little charm, little Florida boonie hat charm on my rifle and stuff. But that's pretty much about it, and it doesn't impact gameplay at all. You know, it doesn't have to deal with any type of shoot boxes, balancing your weapons, or reloading faster, or having more ammo in your magazine. And that's just some of the other things that could be covered in Call of Duty, among a lot of other things, if you will. But you know, they can do what they want. I mean, I just kind of wish there was a little bit better gameplay with Call of Duty, because like I said, I've been playing it for a very long time, since the first Call of Duty. No, I don't think I played it when it first came out. I think I might have played I think it was World War II. I can't remember then. Oh my goodness, it's been so long. I didn't start when it first came out. I actually started a little later after it came out, because Call of Duty actually started out as a PC game, if my recollection is correct. And then it started to move over to console, I believe with the Xbox. Oh man, it's really, it really has been a while. But I know it started out, if I remember correctly, it did start out as a PC and then started moving over to the consoles as well. With that being said, with the producer at XDefiant, I think that he might be shedding light on some of these practices from the XDefiant producer, sparking an important conversation, in my opinion, about the transparency and the integrity of the gaming industry. I think that the gaming industry has kind of gone corporate, so to speak, because if you come from the gamer culture and if you've been around long enough, you realize that gaming was kind of for the nerds, the geeks, the weirdos, or whatever, what have you. And, you know, we were cool with that. You know, we were cool with being made fun of. It was like, whatever, you know, we're going to do our thing, whether you were playing tabletops or you were playing console games, or if you were playing card games like Pokemon, stuff like that. I never got into the card games like that, and I won't judge anybody that does, but it's not something I got into. But I know for a fact that a lot of these gamings, whether it be board games, card games, console gamings, where you have people gathering at tabletops inside of auditoriums, or even in the mall. You know, there were times where people were still going to the mall. They had straight up tournaments within the storefronts of the malls, and people just kind of just gather and just hang out, you know, drink some Mountain Dew, eat pizza, and, you know, poke fun at each other. And that still is the gaming culture. However, it started to go, in my opinion, the kind of stuff you see in mainstream, where it's popularized, where you have movies now kind of glamorizing gaming, and how everybody has this weird looking colored hair. It's almost like a caricature that you see in the mainstream, where the gamer, him or herself, is just got like all these funky colors and everything's neon. You know what I'm saying? Even though that stereotype might actually be true, because I got an LED hanging up in my office / gaming room as we speak. I actually have an LED light, and I have like 2 ring lights that I use for my streaming whenever I am streaming. And actually, I do like the funky colors, but it almost seems like it's being caricaturized that in mainstream, and now you see corporations turning their heads like, this looks like we can make a lot of money off of this. There's a lot more people involved than we think. Let's see how we can maximize profit. And here's the thing, I'm not against capitalism. I think capitalism is a wonderful thing. It is a system that has lifted out more people in poverty than any other type of governmental system or financial system that we've seen worldwide. It is not a perfect system. I will not tell you that. I do not support capitalism blindly. There are some issues with capitalism. I think that can be dealt with by refining the process versus just ditching it out and installing another system, which I'm in complete disagreement with, in my honest opinion. I won't say what, because it's irrelevant. But you see corporations looking at this as a cash cow, and it's, you know, like I said, shiny. Look at this little shiny object here, and people get tired of that. And then, I don't know, maybe 3 months down the road, shiny. Let's look at that. And you see these practices being put in place. Now, this producer with XDefiant was also alleging that you know, they're using what's called SBMM and EOMM, and I can get into detail about this because I actually had to look up EOMM because I'm not too familiar with that term. I am familiar with SBMM. Now, SBMM is called skill-based matchmaking. To break that down like a fraction, if you will, it's making matches based on skill. Now, in Call of Duty, they pair players of similar skill levels to ensure fair and competitive matches. And what that looks like is you're not getting completely bodied by other more experienced Call of Duty gamers. You might have some streamers who stream Call of Duty as a job, like, they do that to put food on the table. So you got the pro players versus the amateurs versus the novice versus the hobbyists like myself. Because I have a separate full-time job that I use to put food on the table. So whenever I game, it's purely out of hobby. I'm not getting paid. I don't get endorsements. I don't have partnerships. It's not something I'm looking for. If I get it, it's cool. That's not the goal. But you have skill-based matchmaking is when you're just trying to pair more experienced players with other experienced players to kind of get a more holistic gaming experience. Me, I'm a little old school. I'm old school Call of Duty, and what that means is no skill-based matchmaking. You get thrown into the fire and you just get completely demoralized, and you start to learn. It kind of sucks because you die a lot, and that's kind of the reason why I kind of pulled away from XDefiant. That's not to say that I'm pro SBMM. There was some other tactics using XDefiant that I was kind of tired of that I see also in Call of Duty, which is the bunny hopping. And oh my goodness, people say, oh, you need to get good, you need to aim better, whatever, man. Bunny hopping for me is not a tactic. I mean, it's there. I'm not going to try to punish people for doing it. Kind of like with XDefiant, they were trying to address that. And I think it was like maybe 3 or 4 bunny hops, at a time, I guess. I don't know how but they were addressing the bunny hopping. But it didn't necessarily by function get addressed within the game. So I don't know. I just don't care for it. But moving on to EOMM, which is called engagement optimized matchmaking, and that aims to please players playing longer. Or I should say, it keeps players playing longer by mixing skill, behavior, and engagement data to influence match outcomes for sustained interest. And that's a lot of technical jargon. And what that means is, let's say you play 4 matches and 3 out of those 4 matches, you're getting absolutely bodied. And I mean bodied. You're just dying. You're dying in the matches. You're dying in the gulag. And you're just dying. And you have to wait to respawn. And it just, you kind of rage quit, throw your console or PC in the fire and just burn it in effigy. Now, what EOMM looks to address is, again, let's say the 3 out of those 4 games, we'll say in the 4th game. Now, the data has been collected on those 3 previous games that you lost as a player. And in the 4th game, let's just say they'll try to adjust the game to make it slightly easier for you in that 4th game. It won't exactly get you across the finish line, but it makes the finish line, I would say, a lot more desirable. So if you take an analogy, and I was thinking about this analogy, maybe with a carrot and a stick situation. Let's just say the carrot's X amount of feet away, like, maybe 100 yards away, and you're just trying to get to that carrot, and it just seems unattainable. Now, if you keep, that carrot just seems further and further away, it doesn't seem like getting closer to it. Let's just say you're about to quit, and it's like, I'm done. And somehow, mysteriously, that carrot is no longer 100 yards away, but now it's 50 yards away, 25 yards away. You're not given the carrot, but the carrot is brought closer to you. And that's what, I guess, in my description of what EOMM is, I'm straight up, look, you got to get in. The only way to get good is to get good. And you're going to play against people who are far more superior than you. There's always somebody better. And the only way you're really going to learn is if you burn a few matches and you get in there. It's almost like when I do my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I get absolutely bodied on the mats. And, sometimes I get some submissions myself. But I know when I first started out, oh my goodness. I mean, you're a deer in the headlights. And you feel demoralized, you feel let down, but you're not there to win. You're there to learn. And if you have that mindset that you're there to learn, and I'm kind of switching over here, over to jiu-jitsu, then that changes your perspective and your outlook on game on your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu game. Now, when you translate that over to gaming, that might be a bit of a different translation because people are playing to win. But I think if you kind of shift your perspective, not saying, well, I'm not playing to win, but shift your perspective to the degree that you're trying to learn the games, learn the mechanics, learn the dynamics, you might want to squad up. Get with somebody who's good, who's willing to walk you through the ropes. Or, you could probably learn on your own. There are a ton of tutorials out there that you can learn, and you don't have to go after the big matches. You can just kind of learn on your own, play the campaign, learn how the game works, and that's totally fine. And when you start to learn the mechanics of the game, it's not saying you're going to go out there and start absolutely bodying everybody, but you have the fundamentals. And I think that translates also back over to how I learned jiu-jitsu, learning the fundamentals, learning about yourself, learning how to move yourself instead of trying to move the other person. Learn your limitations. Be better than you were the day before. What thing can you learn today that you didn't learn the day prior? Or what are some skills that you can refine on, and those knowledge gaps that you have in the gameplay, and how you continue to improve your game. It's always an improvement process, because if you were perfect, you wouldn't die at all. There's always something to improve when you're doing any type of gameplay, like FPS MMO games like Call of Duty, or before they shut down the servers, XDefiant. So definitely, as far as my, and I've been saying my opinion for a few seconds, I really hope that Activision Call of Duty kind of starts to focus more on content as far as gameplay improvements. They have a rather large budget. Now, I was actually looking down this article. It's about a $250 million marketing budget that Activision Call of Duty has. So there is some wiggle room there. And it seems that the producer is saying that they're just using that to, again, add aesthetics, things that really don't help improve the game. And that they could be using that, Activision could be using that, what is it, 9-figure budget to really, make a mark as far as gameplay is. That is a game developer's wildest dreams, even to have, I would even say, a $50 million budget, but to have a $250 million budget for one game. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Because people are going to buy pretty much. You can throw, look, I'm not throwing Activision Call of Duty under the bus, but if they've thrown some things in there, I would call it Greek tragedy. People still buy them anyways. And I think that's kind of where I want to say, if I'm looking insightfully into the producer who is making mention of Call of Duty's alleged practices, that's kind of what Call of Duty's kind of going into, is that they're just, not really optimizing what they could be doing. So we'll see. Activision isn't just going to outright admit, hey, yeah, we are doing EOMM. They are doing SBMM, skill-based matchmaking. That they've admitted before. But the EOMM, according to this article, that's just something that the players have believe that they have proven that Activision has not admitted to, because again, it's still allegedly, unless Activision cops to it. So we want to be careful of those accusations. If you're going to say something about what somebody's did, be sure to preface with allegedly. You can pretty much say just about anything. So hope you guys are enjoying the content. And if you are, don't forget to smash that like button, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure you're getting those notifications. It seems, I'm not sure what's going on with the algorithm. It is a malleable thing, but make sure you are hitting those notification buttons so you can get the latest updates and the latest uploads for the latest content. And with that, this is the Crown One signing off, and I'll talk to you guys later.